As a,
You can also make yourself a tripod. This is a gimmick, but it works. Believe it or not, this is a tripod. You got a washer and a nut and a string. Let me show you. Screw this in. All tripod things are the same. Screw it in. Step on it. And what have you got? You've got stability. Not this way, but this way. And the string is stretchy, so you can put tension on it. This will give you at least 2 to 3 f-stops more of stability. What about vertical? Make a difference. Okay, it's called a string pod. Now we brought, I didn't make everybody one because everybody here is a different height. So you have to make your own custom, and you can just throw it in your pocket. I guarantee you, it works. Okay? It works. So over there's a little bag that has the correct size washer and the correct size nut. So during lunchtime, you can make your own, or you can take some string with you and make your own. And it'll work for 35 millimeters. I mean, it works. It's like a reverse monopod. Instead of the pressure going this way, the pressure goes up. Okay? All right. Well,
and if you're getting close to the ground to see something, like with a macro really close.
when you close the ground, you just set it on something?
Yes.
Uh,
Or if you want to do from omnipotent, but you want to.
well, that'll work omnipotently too.
Right, but you just make
Except you got to make sure that the string is not straight down. And it's,
Yeah.
otherwise, you take a picture of the string. You want to do omnipotent? Simply wrap it around your foot a couple times. See? Okay? The important thing is you get it matched to your height. This was the camera that took the last cover of the Stewart, so, and held, whatever. Okay. Okay. All right. Questions? I mean, other than tweaking, and if you don't know where all of those controls are on your camera, remember that checklist I gave you? That's why I gave you the checklist. It says, set type of image you will create, that's good. Adjust the aperture F, that's with P, or with, change the ISO, we don't worry about that. Accessing value to histogram, you know how to do that. Adjust the exposure, light or dark, we haven't talked about that yet, that's okay. Choose a proper shooting mode, that's P. Access the macro capability of your camera, if you don't know how to do that, then usually got a little flower on it that says, and it says macro mode. Okay? Yeah.
At what point of shutter speed do you have to worry about the motion of the shutter?
Depends on the focal length of the lens. The conventional wisdom is the reciprocal of the focal length is the shutter speed that you can hold it steady at. So if you have a 200 millimeter lens, you can hold it at a 200th of a second. Beyond that, if you have a 30 millimeter lens, you can theoretically hold it at a 30th of a second. Now that breaks down when if you have a 15 millimeter lens, you cannot hold it straight at a 15th of a second. But that's the conventional wisdom. So if you got it cranked up to 500 millimeters, you're gonna have to be shooting pretty fast. You're gonna blur the image. Okay. So it's just, every time you do something, you got to think, okay, how's the camera going to react? How is that going to make the subject work? Okay. So So in this class, here's the creative tools. Selective focus, quantity of light, quality of light, motion control, image size, perspective, and depth of field. And that's it. Okay?
And on top of that, we overlay the stuff you talked about in terms of
This is the
selection and 3Ds
technical
and all
stuff. Okay? Then you got to talk about composition, which we already talked
that.
about.
Yeah, that overlays them.
And then, last night, we were doing all this, and you got them, everything is modified by the conditions around you. There was coneflowers, and there were great spangled fritillaries sitting on them. It was 7:30 at night, it was misting rain, and it was on a 45-degree slope, and there were clouds of black flies around your head. Like, all of those modified what
Your commitment.
you can do, your commitment to the whole thing. So everything is modified by what goes on outdoors, okay? But if you don't know how to do that, then it's irrelevant. Questions? Sue, you got it?
I have no questions whatsoever.
Okay, let me think. Make sure I got it. Hang on, what is it?
I have a question. With my f-stop, it's like the AB,
What?
the f-stop, I guess is
Aperture is f-stop. Aperture is,
aperture.
that means you set the aperture to what you want, and it will automatically set the shutter speed.
It says, it looks like it only goes at the f is 3.1 or 7.8.
You may only go, what's your biggest? Sue's only goes to F8, yours may only go to 7. There's an upper and a lower maximum. The wider the range, the better off you are, and the wider the range, the more you're paying for something. But, you know what? These things aren't just random cost things. I mean, there's things in there that's why you do what you need. You do what you get to do. Okay, one other thing, and I'll let you go to lunch. What did I do? What did I do with this beetle and depth of field, to maximize depth of field? What did I do? Huh? Okay. Now to maximize the depth of field, and what direction was I shooting? I was shooting. The beetle has a plane, and the back of the camera matched the same. What if you're shooting this way? Then what do you got to do? Okay. If you want all of the beetle, and my lens goes to f/22, you're not going to get it. Just get over it. Some things you can't do. So you either change the focal length lens to get more depth of field, or you choose the part of the subject that's most important to photograph, and that's what you do. That's the way it is, you know? If you did it this way, well, you got to choose. So that selective focus then becomes important, okay? So the general rule of thumb is to maximize depth of field, you always get the back of the camera parallel to the narrowest plane of the subject. And that allows you to get rid of the background. But you don't need all the depth. I didn't need all this depth of field.
Could you say that again, to maximize that?
Okay. To maximize depth of field, the back of the camera, which is where the sensor is parallel to the narrowest plane of this, widest plane, narrowest plane. So you got to get more depth of field. This, you get more money for your depth of field this way than over here. So it drives me crazy to see people out in the field and there's this big thing and they're like, you're not going to get it. I can tell you, I don't have to see the photo. You've set up a scenario that is physically impossible for you to do. You were down here, absolutely, you can do it. You know, this 3/4 view thing, eye level, doesn't work. Okay? So hopefully if it's not raining, we'll go outside. There's some things out here that are relevant to that. Okay? All right. Lunchtime? 1 o'clock.